Hello everyone, my name is FlareBlitzed and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo, part 20. Hope you're all having a lovely day. Hello! She attempts to punctuate her normal greeting with a grand little sweep at the end. And, aha! Hi Chan, how are you? It's strange seeing them Yukata. Though I've been seeing Yukata in general all night, Shizune is simple and tasteful, which is obvious for her in retrospect. For all of her grand flourishes and over-the-top behaviour, I think she would rather die than dress the part. What draws my eye is the hairpin she is wearing, a pearl flower that gleams softly in the moonlight. It looks pretty on her, but in the way it also feels out of place, as if it's too elaborate for a high school girl. Why? Or maybe just for someone as secretly childish as Shizune. Mrs. Yukata is about what I expected, so it actually fits a little too well, paired with a bubble-gum pink Clara from Sword and Shield. She looks cute, but anachronistic. You two look nice. Thanks, Hi-chan. Hi-chan, you're a little late. We were waiting for you for a while. Did you forget the time or the place? Oh well, we didn't even arrange for a time or place. You two just talked about a time or place, but didn't talk to us, but thought you talked to us about it. Oh dear. Misha dropping this line of discussion saves me for what could potentially be a pretty embarrassing thing to own up to. Specifically, that I've been looking for them for at least an hour. Seeing Shizzy and Misha look so cheerful, it's hard not to want to fall into the atmosphere and enjoy a nice night out. What bothers me is that I'm having some trouble reading Shizune's signing tonight. I haven't been to sign language class in almost a week, so I'm not surprised. I guess having lost focus for a while, I'm slipping. It certainly wouldn't be the first time, and quite possibly wouldn't be the last time. Hold on, where are we going? Into town? Yes. That doesn't make any sense. We haven't even checked out what's on the grounds, unless you two decide to have fun while I wasn't looking. We're going to come back. We'll be working our way up. Either way, Hi-chan, we have to walk into town and then back up if we want to see everything. So, this way after we're done, we'll be right back our dorms when we're tired. It works out perfectly, yes. Always start furthest away and then work your way back to where you come from. That is admittedly logical, indeed it is. Shizune doesn't give me much time to argue anyway, grabbing me by the arm and lightly trying to pull me along. What did I do? This is a pretty sight, actually. The streets illuminated only by the light of the moon and low lanterns tinted with tissue paper put me at ease. It sure does it now? Although it still looks like it's in construction, or maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Now that we're in town, Shizune moves a bit more slowly in order to see the sights, so I decide to walk more briskly in order to mess with her. But she quickly readjusts her own speed to match, letting out a soundless laugh before quickly signaling to Misha with her offhand. What do you want to do first, Hi-chan? How about some games, if there are any? I thought you didn't like games, Hi-chan. I don't mind. For the second time today, I feel her slim fingers wrapping around mine. It feels like all this time I've been pulled along by Shizune's will. Occasionally it's quite tiring, but I think that for the most part I wouldn't say I hate it. Just say you like it. It's just the quality of some people to drag others to their lives like a storm. That word fits Shizune sometimes. A storm. I think. Although I didn't want to tell Misha earlier today. I do like her. Hey Chan, you're going to win a doll for me too this time, right? What do you mean too? You're still thinking about that? Okay, I will. One shall. The time passes by faster than I thought it could as we run around trying to do as many frivolous things as possible. Snow cones! Hi-chan, do you want one? Misha runs towards the stand, not even waiting to hear my answer. Of course we want one. They look delicious. I want one too. Oh dear, we'll play rock, paper, scissors to see who can pay for them all. Remember what happened last time? It was about 16 or 17 different attempts to try and find a victor for a piece of bread, and then all we got at the end of the day was we'll just split the bread in half. Or we could each pay it for our own. Hi Chan, what flavour do you want? The blue one. Blue is not a flavor. The ice cream that's blue. I knew that. Ordering something based on colour is childish. You're childish. You're childish. What are you getting at? Are you getting strawberry, huh? That's such a childish flavour. Only children eat strawberry. Hey, strawberry's a good flavour. You should get plain, the most mature flavour of all. I want to know where her personality comes from. I wonder if I would think that way if she hadn't been the first student I end up having a conversation with on my first day here. It's entirely possible that I'd missed the parts of her that kept drawing me in. If I didn't know that she couldn't hear me and that she was so competitive and so focused with getting me to join the student council and so alternatingly playful and sharp, without these constant new facets to keep my interest in her, would I have grown to like her so much? Who knows? It's like that I'm overthinking it. Aren't you going to make a wish? Shai-chan never makes wishes, Shai-chan. Oh really? Not even New Year's? Why is that? Shizune tenses her fingers and smiles for an answer. It's a secret. I know. Hi-chan, do you want me to tell you? What's that meant to mean? Yes? Do pray tell. Shizune alternates between as many forceful iterations of no she can think of. I'll tell you later, okay? Actually, I feel tired. I think I'm going to go to bed. I thought you said you was going to stick around this time for the fireworks. How dare you? Really? It doesn't feel like it's been that long. Time flies when you're having fun after all. But it has, Head-chan. Maybe I can visit Yuko first, then go back, or... I don't know. Well, it doesn't matter. Have fun without me, okay? You're doing this on purpose, mister, for goodness sakes. You know the body bond between these two, so therefore you want to get away from it as fast as you can. Something like that. We're going to go back to the school soon anyway, Misha. Misha doesn't want to hear it and leaves anyway. Shizune starts to wonder why just as soon as I do, but while I keep it in my head, she signs it, seeming want to discuss with possible reasons. Oh no. After we've both seen all that there is to see, I check the time and find it's pretty late. My energy is starting to wear off, and it's a miracle that I managed to even have this much too. Even Shizune is starting to look a bit tired. We make our way back to the grounds. To the school grounds. Shizune seems disappointed when she sees the school building lit up and teeming with students. Something wrong? I wanted to go up to the roof, but now there are too many people. I'm tired, so it might be for the best. There are probably couples on the roof, since it's that kind of holiday. Then again, I wouldn't know. Is that how it really is? I've never really been to any festivals before coming here. I'm disappointed. I thought you said you wanted to see what the school was doing last. Like saving the best for last? Now you're telling me you don't want to? Not even a little? I thought you would have more energy. I don't feel tired. This seems to spark a competitive spirit, and Shizune immediately perks up. Although it's then that I realise I don't have anywhere in mind to take her, and I don't feel like I'm going to the main building myself. Fortunately, the area behind the school is both deserted and impressive looking today. I never appreciate how sprawling and well kept it was until seeing it at night. It almost seems to go on forever in the moonlight. It's very pretty, even though it's just a field. Exactly. Even if it's just a field, it can be very pretty. The most simplest of things of life, in life, doesn't mean it's boring. I'd thought earlier that she was too immature to pull off the old-fashioned clothes she was wearing tonight, but right now, she's quite beautiful in them. It makes me think back to that day, the other festival that I went to with her. She had looked the same way then. I want to tell her that I like her, decisively in one go, but even thinking about it is just so awkward. And the more I like her, the more awkward and afraid I am of telling her how I feel, even now. Well, I could do so if I wanted without having to go for another person. Not to mention, what if what happened last time happens again? Stop it! If it does, I might not get off so easily with a months-long hospital stay. I don't want to even think about it. I try to shove the thoughts out of my mind any way possible. Exactly. I try to dismiss them as unlikely fears. Exactly. Unlikely fears. Impossible fears. Still. The first time I had seen all my pills, I imagined them cascading before me, enough of them to joke me. I still think about it from time to time. I can't say that it's not a legitimate concern. Times like these are nice enough that I can forget, though. Exactly. My favourite thing about this school is that it's on a top of a mountain? Okay, on top of a hill. Is it because it's that much closer to the sky? Yes, I like it too, but more because of the fresh air. You're so competitive. Too competitive. If a whale bit you, you would bite it back. That makes her laugh and she winks. Would that be so bad? Her smile is contagious. Yes. It's true. I'm terrible. A little. But if I can make people happy, I'm not entirely terrible, am I? Then it's okay. I have many examples in my defense. Like, maybe even this moment is a kind of game to her. That's right. This is a romantic moment. I don't know if such a chance might come again, and I feel compelled to say something awkward and stupid or think about it too much. I doubt my hands would listen to me. Wow, that is just straight to the point. Do you want to be my girlfriend? I hope that I signed it properly. I feel nervous as if I want to break it or run. Yeah, I'm rooted to the spot. I couldn't hear a thing just minutes ago. Now I'm picking up every little ambient noise. I really am nervous, and I wonder if it shows. Before, hours passed like seconds. Now the seconds pass like eons. Then I see Shizune's hands moving unsteadily before her, fumbling over each other, stopping halfway through each gesture. It's like she said, sign language gives you an opportunity to think a word through, and she's trying very hard to do that right now. A situation that she doesn't know how to respond to. It must be unthinkable. As stoic as Shizune tries to be, she can't hide her reddening cheeks. And she's very cute and feminine like this. And it puts me at ease to know she is as nervous as I am. Before is yet another way in which I found myself competing with her. Okay. Aww, that's a simple reply. But as soon as I think that, Shizune takes a step forward and embraces me. Aww. An unsure and careful embrace, as if I were made of eggshell, and as if she doesn't know how to hug someone. Although to be honest, it's not a subject I'm familiar with either. Her yukata is cool and silky under my fingers, but I can also feel Shizune's warmth. In the end, she thought this was the best possible gesture to show how she felt. Ah, hugs always prevail over kisses, honestly. And what's sleight of hand? Act 3. There wasn't a single multiple choice in that entire act of Act 2. The following days passed uneventfully and with surprising quickness. I found renewed motivation to learn sign language. It seems I have a knack for learning sign, so it would be a waste to not do it. And falling behind will be even more unacceptable. Summer break is coming up. Even though I figure student council work would see a drop-off proportional to how lethargic my classes are becoming. It doesn't happen that way. Every day I get swamped under increasingly meaningless work. Despite how much I want to, I don't have even a free second to talk to Shizune nowadays. Every time I look at her, her face is buried in some books of records or of some stacks of papers that need to be checked over in I know how to pronounce a word, but I can't get the words out of my mouth. Today I woke up early to come to school before everyone else, hoping to catch Shizune. She has a habit of coming in first thing in the morning, to be more punctual than all of the other students. Unfortunately, I think I am earlier than her. Here in the student council room, door click closed to my right tells me that isn't the case. I guess I got here just behind her. I enter the room and tap Shizune on the shoulder to get her attention. Hello. Maybe she expects a conversation, which is why she puts down the carton of orange juice in her hand. Good morning. Where's your better half? We are separate individuals, exactly. Thinking about it, we must get that quite a bit. I can think of no other way to explain how ready she was with that answer. You're here early. That's good. You can help me look over some handouts. They're going out later today. I came here specifically so I could see you without having to do work. According to Misha, being early isn't new for you. It's not new for you either. Are you saying you want to race? Shizune adjusts her glasses nonchalantly, a gesture that biles how giddy she is inside about the thought of having something very pretty to take competitively and seriously. I think the smaller the matter is, the more it excites her. It's not a race. Do you want to make a contest? I don't. Almost forgot to add the last part, the most important part. Well, that's fine. There are too many days left in the school. I get tired of it anyway. With that, Shizune picks up her juice and finishes it off. I wonder if she's going to try and shoot the empty container into the trash, but she doesn't. In fact, she seems puzzled as to why I seem so disappointed. I better get to the point. I just wanted to talk. Our break is practically here, you know. And we should spend more time together anyway. I was thinking that we could do that over the summer. Shizune's face turns as red as mine must be, as she starts adjusting her glasses, flustered. What's an all-purpose gesture? She taps her fingers together in thought, considering her next words carefully. You mean like a date? Just because we're going out somewhere, that instantly makes it a date? It's not. I want to be... Oh gosh. We're nervous about the fact that she may think it's a date and reject us. Now it's like the complete opposite. Like, wait, you don't want it to be a date? I want it to be a date. Then it is one. Shizune approvingly claps her hands once before adding on to my statement. But not today. I'm going away for a week to visit my family. That is an oddly formal way of putting it. And for that reason my interest is piqued. Maybe a family is the prime and proper traditional kind, live in a giant old-timey mansion with a little stream and koi pond, where everyone wears kimonos all the time. I think you're over-exaggerating this. It's a weird assumption, but it's fun to speculate sometimes. I wonder if Shizune puts on the appearance of being a calm and mature good daughter like Lily when she is with her family. I can't imagine it, but if there's even a possibility that it's true, then I must see it. Only a week? It must not be that far of a trip then. Of course not, they're still in Japan after all. Really? It isn't like you can come with me. Is that what you're trying to say? Why can't I? It isn't like you would enjoy it. You don't know that. It could be fun. Oh, I almost forgot. You didn't answer my question. Are you going alone or is Misha going with you? Does your family know sign? Well, obviously they would have to communicate somehow with their daughter. Misha is coming along. But part of the question left unanswered is most telling. If Shizune's family can't communicate with her, I have to wonder what her childhood was like. She probably wrote everything on that pad she carries around and still produces out of nowhere sometimes. Usually, it's with neither Misha nor I are around. I can notice her from far away when she pulls it out as a last resort, grimacing the whole time. If Misha is going, then I'm going to go too. Do you like Misha? It's a principle of the thing. I entertain the notion that Shizune might actually be jealous, but I doubt it. She usually wears her emotions pretty plainly on her face, and I don't see anything that would support my theory right now. I think you're just bored. That's okay though. Alright, we'll all go together. It's what I hoped for in the first place. You can't skip out of student council today to pack your bags just because you're coming with us on such short notice. It's no excuse. It's okay, I hardly have anything to pack anyways. Shizune pauses, tenting her fingers thoughtlessly. But you must have gone to the school on very short notice. It could be that she is thinking back to the time when she and Misha unexpectedly shoved themselves into my room and caught a glimpse of all my medicines. That was an awkward moment, but I'd like to forget, and I don't like revisiting it. The way she tiptoes around the issue even now only makes me feel more uncomfortable. I did. It was kind of an on-the-spot decision. It worked out better than I expected, though. Hope Shizune won't pursue the matter, and to my relief she doesn't. My home is in a particularly beautiful part of Saitama. We'll be leaving early in the morning, so be ready. Let's talk about it more later, okay? For now, those handouts won't look over themselves. Are you going to help me? And you're going to help me, sorry. As Shizune dives into her work, pulling me along with her, I think that she seems almost, but not quite, excited to go. I keep pressing off the screen for some odd reason. You can't tap on the keyboard to proceed through the game, you have to press the mouse. That's one thing I don't like about this game, actually. But I think that's the only thing I don't like about the game. Having to continuously type on a mouse, or tap on a mouse. When Shizune and Misha arrive early the next morning to pick me up, they are dressed in something other than the school uniform I've grown used to seeing them in. Okay, it makes sense since we're on holiday, but still jarring. Shizune's dress is sharp and fashionable, almost too much for a quiet place like Yamako. Thinking back to what she wore at the Tanabata Festival, I'm starting to notice a trend with her. All of her clothes are very tasteful and mature, very well thought out. So then, I wonder why she herself is so immature. I don't want to know what that is. Well, at least Misha's clothes reflect her inner self from the outside. You're bringing so little. I said I would. I said there wasn't much to pack. Shizune pouts and rocks her own rather large collection of luggage of her foot as if embarrassed. Misha only has one suitcase with her, but it's almost larger than she is. She is self-conscious about it as well. God, that suitcase is as big as a compact car. The pea green is unsettling too, as I don't use to transport bodies. The way they look right now makes me want to tease them a little. Oh, that's bad luck for you and Misha, isn't it? Having to carry those huge bags, gotta pack light next time like me. Everything fits into one little suitcase. Like James Bond. Yes, exactly like James Bond. Shizune gently tugs at her glasses in concentration. We should split the amount we carry equally. How about no? Well, that's a great idea, Shai-chan. What? No. It would benefit us all. Yep, I'm going to have to say no. You're outvoted. She almost lunges forth as she signs it, terrifying. Oh well, I was just kidding. I don't mind carrying a few extra. I just thought it would be fun to mess with you both. But if you were going to try and make me carry it all, I was going to ride that giant green case down the mountain like a sled. That seems to make Shizune laugh, and she holds her hand up to her mouth to hold it back. It's like she is hiding it. I wonder if she can laugh. If not, then that might be why she does that. That kind of makes me feel sad. That's fine though. With that taken care of, we head for the train station, and a very uneventful ride follows. Shizune and Misha manages to fall asleep almost instantly, but I find myself unable to. That's never happened before. Maybe it's my medication. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. When we arrive at Shizune's house, it's quite a bit larger than I envisioned it would be. I don't think huge would be much of an overstatement. You live in a mansion? Shizune indolently steps up on her tiptoes so that we're at eye level and frowns deeply. Having had my comment translated by Misha as if she's saying, how do you even suggest such a thing? This is just a normal house. Nothing as ostentatious as a mansion. I believe our definitions of those terms are quite different then, yep. Oh, hi Chan, are you surprised? Do you want me to point out where you'll be staying? I think we have a guest room, but I'm not sure if we have two. I'll check. It's no problem though, Hi-chan. Shai-chan and I can share a room if we have to. Well, unless hers is being used for something else now. Not sure. I'm starting to think Shizune doesn't spend a lot of time at home. Before I can make a joke about her expense, Shizune vanishes into the house, and Misha goes with her. Leave me alone on the grounds. I don't want to follow them inside just yet. I put my bag down by the front door and take the opportunity to look around the grounds. Just making a quick lap around the house. Hopefully there aren't people who think you're trespassing, and we see somebody that we don't recognize before. Even though it takes just a few minutes, when I get back, the first thing I notice is that my bag is gone and a tiny girl is in its place. She looks a lot like Shizune, although Shizune wouldn't wear red shorts and star and moon stockings. Hi, are you Shizune's little sister or something? No, I'm her little brother. My name is Hideaki. It's nice to meet you. The voice that responds is straightforward, monotone, and also definitely male. I feel embarrassed to a point where I could almost turn around and leave right now, if I can remember my way back to the train. Are you the second person that my sister brought with her? Brought with her? I'm not luggage. Anyway, I'm Hisao. Did you take my bag? Yes, it is in the right. So it is my right to keep anything I find on my property. No, it's not. That's not how it works at all. I guess even particularly well-spoken little kids believe in the law of finders keepers. Even though I call him a little, he doesn't seem that much younger, now that I think about it. Maybe 2 or 3 years younger at most. I gave it to Shizune. It's inside. Are you on the student council? Yeah, how did you know? Does she bring it up often? I almost say, does she talk about it often? But that could be bad. Yes, all the time. Do you get along with her? Get along? That's a weird question. I wouldn't be on the student council if I couldn't get along with her. What about you? Do you two get along well? Even though he has a monotone voice, his face is as expressive as Shizune's, and belies how he really feels. It must run in the family. Looks like he isn't happy about my question for whatever reason. I'm sorry. I was only asking because you both act so much alike. So even he notices? I don't know why, but it feels like he's teasing me. Unfortunately it works. I don't like being compared to Shizune. You're a lot more like Shizune, but that's to be expected. I mistook you for her little sister, even. If you don't want people to make that mistake, you should dress more What? I don't understand. My clothes are perfectly seasonal. Not like that. What's with the stockings? They're cool. You act like my sister. Eventually people start mistaking you for her. I guess my comment hit him harder than I thought. But I'll explain this attempt to turn it around. I hate being compared to other people. It makes me feel like I'm not my own individual. Shizune doesn't like it when she's compared to others either. I thought that Hideki was a little more mature than Shizune, but they have the same competitive streak and inclination to provoke people. What if he's like this because of Shizune, or if it's the other way around? And neither do you, right? Okay, I get it. I shouldn't be so petty. Especially to little kids. Hideki seems to accept this as an acknowledgement of defeat, which is something that I feel like I can't let go. Nevertheless, I'll just have to let it go while I have the chance. I can hear Misha's laughter bouncing through the halls the moment I step through the door to the house and follow it into what I would guess is the living room. It holds more people than I expected. And we have Liddy here as well. And somebody else. A mom might spot a distinctive and familiar blonde ponytail. I'm more confused by why Liddy is here than surprised. So they are related somehow. Like, their parents might be siblings. Shizune seems just as surprised. Liddy doesn't look ecstatic about this chance meeting either. Sitting next to Liddy is a tall, androgynous looking woman in a sharp suit. I'd like to assume that it's her older sister, but I don't want to risk it. I didn't expect Vio to arrive so early. At first I think she's talking to me, but it turns out she's referring to Shizune. I don't think Liddy even notices my presence. I've clearly walked in on them mid-conversation. It looks like with her focus on Shizune, she couldn't hear me. I should have rearranged my entire schedule for you. Shai-chan says I should have rearranged my schedule just for you. That would have been nice, but I would not expect you to do such a thing. Oh, hi, Hi-chan. You're finally here. Yeah, hello, Lily. Oh, hi, Sal. This is quite a surprise. Arika, this is Hisao, a schoolmate. Hisao, this is Arika, my sister. Yo, she holds up her hand in a belief and quite casual gesture of greeting, so she is the older sister after all. I hope we're not messing up any of your plans. Since we're only going to be here for one more day, Lee and I thought she may as well come with me. Akira turns to me, like she feels compelled to explain. I'm grateful for that. I suppose my position here would be best described as a baby sister. Sitter, sorry. Arika ruffles Hayaki's hair as he carries on with his pastime of looking displeased. This is demeaning. Really? Maybe I'll change my title once you get a few more years on you, or at least a few centimeters. But make an interesting pair, although Akira looks more like a lawyer than a babysitter. Yeah, I can agree with that as well. I'm still not really sure why both she and Lydia are here though. Taking a glance around the room, there are tennis rackets, golf clubs, and even a stack of fishing poles and tackle boxes secreted here and there. Behind every chair, in every corner, and under every table, there is some piece of outdoor hobbyist equipment. I pick up one of the fishing rods and play with it. This is a nice house. Shizune, looks like your dad has a lot of hobbies. For a moment I forgot to sign what I say, but Misha's already in the process of interpreting what I said to her. I'm still impressed with how automatic interpreting is for Misha. Do you fish? No, I don't know how to fish. I kind of want to learn, as I heard it's relaxing. There is a river only a short drive away. My whole family knows how to fish. If you want, we could go there sometime. You and Hideaki can fish? I didn't expect people your age to know, considering it always seemed like a hobby for old men. Thanks. You know, Lily is great at cooking. If we had some fresh fish, it's not hard to follow Akira's train of thought. If you want to eat fish, we could go to the store. But there's nothing more satisfying than fresh fish. Lily's voice sounds slightly more authoritative than usual. She really doesn't seem to share her sister's enthusiasm for the idea. It's more fun to go fishing. We could even make it a game and try to see who catches the biggest one. That would be exciting, right? Yeah, hi-chan. What do you think? It sounds fun, doesn't it? Yeah, it definitely could be. Sounds like a plan. I don't know how to fish either, so now's as good a time as any to learn. Her eyes shift towards Lily, who remains unmoved. This sours Akira's smile a bit. It makes me wonder why Lily's been so obstinate about this. I don't think we have enough fishing equipment for everyone. We can take turns. It'll be a team battle. No. What is she saying? We could take turns. She also wants to make it a contest. Come on, Lily. We may as well make the most of it. So is this going to be a competition so you can catch the biggest fish or the most? It looks like the older sister understands better as always. Shizune says that she supposes Lily would prefer to go to the store, right? It's much less work, so it's natural that she would. Going fishing would be more fun, though, and save money. Akira, you have the right idea. Akira gives a gracious, if slightly stilted, smile. Shizune's praise wasn't her goal, after all. Isn't the river quite far away? It's a short drive. I don't think it's that far, and I can drive if we have to. I'm okay with it, as long as you catch something. Can your car fit this many people, and a whole lot of fishing gear on top of that? She purses her lips as her fingers subtly move, counting up the amount of passions and required cargo. If we're going to be taking me, Shizune, Misha, Lily, Akira, and Hideaki, so that's 6 people. 6 people, damn, my car can only take 5. Actually, if Hideaki sit on my lap, we could... I'm not sitting on your lap! Aww. Shai-chan said her father's car would be big enough. What? The Fuga? If he doesn't mind us using it, I guess we have no other choice. Kinda feels bad forsaking my car, considering I won't have it for much longer. Despite Lily's obstinacy and Hideaki's question of whether or not we prefer to eat first and bet on a fish dinner that might fail to even materialize, there is no way to dissuade Akira and Shizune as they agree on the transport plan. This is definitely a nice fun ride, and of course Lily is having a oh my gosh. Why is she always asleep on these kind of expeditions? My expectations of a somewhat relaxing drive through the countryside are fulfilled. Akira's driving is as smooth and peaceful as the surroundings, to the point where Misha falls asleep during the trip. So it seems like you don't take in the countryside that well after all. I thought this trip would have been rather too slow paced for Shizune's liking, but she seems to generally enjoy it, even with Hideaki awkwardly sandwiched between her and the door. Okay. She just keeps looking out the window and smiling. Anyways, how can someone sit in your lap when you're driving? Like, you need to use your legs to operate the pedals. The area surrounding the river is quite beautiful. Akira and Shizune head off for the river so quickly we have no choice but to chase them. We would be left in the dust otherwise. I can see how Hideaki and Lily are just humouring their siblings, Lily being the more unenthusiastic of the two. Mesha seems as happy as ever though. Looks like she managed to latch onto some of Shizune and Akira's excitement. As for myself, I'd rather eat now, but a thought of fresh fish prepared by Lily is appealing. The river is larger than I imagined, although very scenic and peaceful, other than a small pillar apparently built just to fish off. This place looks very untouched by civilization, and it makes me realize how much greenery I've seen lately. Very green. Shizune pulls Misha away so that they can explain how to fish to Akira. Lily and Hideaki are talking between themselves. So, yeah, Lily. Did I say some other name? I don't know. So I decided to join the enthusiastic trio. So which one of these lures should I use then? Can I use this cute little one? Wait, this is a contest. We need to pick teams first. Sai-chan and I will be on one team. Of course, Hai-chan. You're going to be on our team too, won't you? We could be the student council team. Okay. Alright then, that makes me, Hideaki and Lily on the other team. Lily, what should we call ourselves? Wow. Come on now. Be more enthusiastic. Team of no enthusiasm it is. I'm sorry, Akira. Yet again, Akira's best efforts are rebuffed. Shizune and Mishra, on the other hand, have no lack of enthusiasm whatsoever. Hisao, you can be our point man. Please try hard to catch as many or the biggest fish possible. Why me? No one's even taught me how to fish yet. We could do that now. After a quick tutorial, Shizune immediately tries to draw us into a discussion about the strategy in a tag team fishing competition. I feel bad for Akira, honestly. Somehow competition doesn't seem particularly applicable to a sport where you spend hours sitting down hoping a fish bites a worm. It looks like Hideaki got stuck with the spare rod. You know it's just a string tied to a bamboo pole, right? That means when deciding the order you should go against him. What? Why me? You have the least experience here, Hai-chan. Yes, who's the best here? Shizune? Hideaki is your brother. He's probably just as good. He probably fishes all the time since he lives closer to a lake. He might even be better. Watching you three makes my head hurt. You know I'm only hearing 2/3 of a conversation, right? What's it about? Picking our lineup. Akira makes a troubled face. She's getting impatient, which probably isn't too unreasonable. If you're impatient, that only makes me more excited. Now I want to play for higher stakes. What's she saying? She wants to play for higher stakes. I wouldn't be too hasty. We have beginners like twice on our side after all. The only way you'll be able to beat is by catching a whole ocean. This is a freshwater body of water, you marine biologist. A weird insult delivered with unblinking and innocent good cheer. Akira doesn't seem bothered. She laughs it off and Shizune looks like her usual mischievous self again. I'm glad they get along. So, are we going to pick teams or what? I'm getting kind of hungry. Hisao, Misha and I on one team, and Lily, Hideaki and you on the other, aren't you? I suppose it's the most obvious arrangement. Wouldn't mixing up a little be more fun though, huh? You don't want to fish with your own sister? Well, neither of us know how to fish, so putting both of us on the same team is kinda... Well, it sounds like I've heard something kind of dangerous. I try to change the subject before Shizune can turn that incrudious look on her face into anything more. So I guess you and Shizune know each other. Sure do, we go way back. Akira throws a knowing grin at Shizune. It's not until Misha finished translating what she said that Shizune gains a troubled face. Akira sure is different from Lily, aside from how they look. She's much more informal and laid back. I expected Lily's family to be all proper and formal like her, so this is a surprise, but I feel like she's easy to talk to. As much as I like talking about catching fish, we should probably actually do it sometime. Would you suggest that there should be a lineup, like in baseball, or should it be everyone at once, or a tag style battle? Tag battle style. Can everyone sit wherever they want, or do teams have to stick together? Do we call what we fish? What fish sizes will we be counting? Shizune groan after Misha dutifully translates for her. Shizune rubs her glasses, laughing silently. Never mind, let's just fish then. It can be an individual contest. And here we go. Lily looking as uncomfortable as ever. I'm guessing social gatherings are not her forte. Like, she's confident about one or two other people, but not a whole group of people. I sit down ready to fish. Or if I'm not feeling very confident, everyone else is already sitting, except Akira, who takes a seat next to me and throws her line out after taking off her suit jacket and rolling up her sleeves. Which makes sense. Misha and Hideaki end up sitting on the shore and fishing together, as there's not enough room on the pillar for everyone. Truth be told, I'd rather be sitting next to Shizune, but Akira seems approachable enough. Careful there, you're a little close. Don't tangle our lines, Kay. So you've never fished before? No, but I've seen a bit of it on TV. I've always wanted to catch one of those big fish with a sword for a face. Marlin, I think? Swordfish. If I recall correctly, those are from the ocean. They are saltwater fish. I know that. Why is everyone acting like I don't know the difference between fish water and saltwater fish? Freshwater, sorry. If you aren't careful, you'll scare off a fish, saltwater or not. Akira's voice is somewhat loud between her attempts to both egg on Shizune and keep Lily entertained, so she may have a point. Milan doesn't seem to be picking up anything, but I don't know how much of that is down to Akira. Shizune does her best to relax in the sun, and pulls the look off very well, but I can tell that she'd be slightly put off by not knowing what's being talked about. Not having Misha around can be a real problem. Hi Sal, what's the score so far? Are we winning? Hope we are, given that I've entrusted you with our team's success. Oh dear. I managed to do some awkward sign with creative placement of my creative placement. It's probably close to being gibberish in spoken terms. You're like, right there, can't you tell? Disappointing. You let yourself get distracted. You have to stay focused. Should have known. Well, it's a 0-0 in any case. Akira chuckles, although it's clear that really took the wind out of her sails. Is it just numbers now, or are we keeping track of a size too? Both. Grading matters. Who's going to be grading them? Are you a certified fish judge? Shizune shakes her head to signify that she isn't. But it doesn't matter like... Sorry, it doesn't seem like it would be very hard. Tell Mish to stop throwing her hands around like that. You're scaring all the fish away, and ask Hideaki why he isn't even bothered to cast yet. I look over to the two and yell what Shizune said to them. Shai-chan, I think he's upset that he's stuck with a backup rod. Since Misha is largely unable to sign anything coherently right now, Shizune gets a puzzled look from Shizune for a reply. Shishi just sighs after a translator for her. Hey, even if you're depressed about it, you gotta try. You could catch the big one, for all you know. But you won't catch anything unless you do. I feel that at least half of her encouragement is because if Hideaki does catch the big one, she wants to be there to eat it. And having 6 people fishing just leads to a better chance of catching something than having 5, yeah? The constant awkward shuffling I have to do to communicate with Shizune, not to mention her increasing fidgeting, makes me think that it might be good to give her a go at fishing. Hey guys, can we switch over for now? Sure. Lily? No, please, I have no idea how to fish. I sign what they say, given that I seem to have taken Misha's place as Shizune's interpreter right now. How magnanimous of you, Lily. Oh boy, here we go. I don't bother translating what she says for fear of sparking another fight. Shizune says you should at least try. It might even turn out to be fun. Very well, Kira. How do you use this? It's pretty simple. I wonder how ethical it is to purposely completely change what Shizune said like that. At least it paid off. Yeah. I think I understand. What bait do you think would be the best use? I prefer something that wouldn't hurt the fish too much. If you're putting a hook through their mouth, I don't think the bait's going to hurt them much more. And letting it go... No, don't do that. But if it isn't big, there's little point in... Lily is interpreting the size of the fish to determine the importance of whether or not you'd kill the fish or not. It's life regardless whether or not it's big or small. With my hands freed, it's much easier for me to interpret what everyone's saying. Now Shizune's the one that has to deal with her hands being full, but she seems to take it in her stride. That's so arrogant. Okay, I'll only reel in the big ones too from now on. What's she saying? Akira just sighs after interpret for her. No, I don't like that only. You know, a fish is a fish, and you take what you can get, exactly. Unfortunately, Shizune can't hear her, and Lily doesn't seem to be paying much attention now. Lily's taken to fishing easily, and it's a very relaxed activity after all. It isn't long before they both catch a fish, and surprisingly, Lily is just as interested in which is the bigger of the two as Shizune is. As the hours pass, seems like being starting to have fun. Yay! At the end of the day, we have several good-sized fish between us. Even Hideaki and Misha managed to catch one. No breeds up, but we were competing to see who could catch more. I don't think it matters to anyone anymore. Shizune and Misha are talking between themselves some distant away, and Lily and Hideaki are doing the same. I'd like to take advantage of a quiet moment to talk with Akira. Lily and Shizune get on well today. I didn't really expect it after seeing how they act towards each other in school. She gives an amused snort. It looks like she doesn't take their feuding as seriously as I do. They've got their reasons. Lily and I are going away for a while tomorrow, so we thought we'd just pop by. In the end, I'm glad we did. After a brief silence, she stretches loudly and then claps her hands to get everyone's attention. Well, that looks like enough to feed everyone. We should be getting back now. Hell yeah. Lily nods but then hesitates. Even with her face clouded a bit, she still looks to be in a better mood than this morning. Akira really seems to know how to handle her and diffuse her antipathy towards Shizune pretty well. Today's cash looks delicious. I kind of wish I had some soy sauce so I could just eat it now. I thought you wanted me to cook it. You don't think eating it raw would be okay? You can eat fish raw. Despite Akira's protests, that's what we call sushi, or joking as I can't tell which, we decided to wait to at least cook the fish before eating it. Exactly. It's almost become pretty late while we're out, and by the time we arrive back at Shizune's house, it's a good time for dinner. Hell yeah. And the next day dawns. This is a vastly different route from Rin's and Emi's, which a majority of the time were still within the school premises. Oh no! Some of my pills spilled out all over the bottom of my bag, which I didn't realise until minutes before I was set to go to bed last night. I spent quite a bit of time scraping them out of my luggage. By the time I get up, I'm already starting the day with a migraine of a combination of trouble falling asleep and waking up late. When I step into the living room, Hideaki is there finishing up his breakfast, his fork raised midway to his mouth. He seems unsure whether he should be continuing eating or greet me. Maybe I should back out of the room. Good morning. Morning. What do you think we should have for breakfast? We? Aren't you eating breakfast right now? Yes, everyone else already ate. Despite that, he repeats this question again. He's just trying to be nice. It's an odd way to show it, but I appreciate it nonetheless. And I am feeling pretty hungry. I'll try to make some conversation with him while I'm getting my breakfast to fill in the silence. That fishing trip yesterday was fun. Do the Hakimichis and Satus often get together like this? Not really. I see. I don't really. There's a brief pause before Hideaki deigns to fill me in a little more. Family issues. Our fathers are brother-in-laws and do not like each other. Hearing that gives me plenty to think about. It puts the way Shizune and Lily deal with each other into context, and makes me even more weary of getting involved. Family issues can be troublesome. Hideaki simply nods as I sit at the table with my breakfast. I wish he were a little easier to converse with. While I'm eating, I notice that the house seems oddly quiet for a place with Misha in it. Yeah, if Shizune and Misha ate breakfast already, it can't be because they're asleep. I ask Hideaki where they are. Shizune and Misha left to run some errands for our dad. The local business people love dealing with Misha, so he's insisted, sorry. Well, she's got a nice and cheerful personality. I can see why they would. Maybe you should start taking lessons from her. You can increase your business connections. Are you serious? He sounds serious. I don't know what kind of business connections a little kid would need. Maybe he wants to have the best bake sale fundraiser ever. It's a shame I'll eventually have to leave here and won't be around to see whatever he is planning. I wonder what kind of person Shizune's dad is again, other than relatively outdoorsy. What I do know so far is that he asks his business partners and friends of his daughter to do favours of him. I'm assuming he's extremely shy or extremely lazy. Maybe it's a rude call to make so early, but it would certainly explain a large chunk of Shizune's personality. Do you want to go anywhere? Not really. Why, do you? I thought there might be somewhere you want to go. You don't want to do some sightseeing or eat at a specific restaurant? I don't know. I've never been here before, exactly. I see. I was just about to ask him about what Shizune was like when she was younger, but he's managed to sidetrack me with just one question. But it appears to be as awkward a conversation for him as it was for me. You're sure eager to please today. Why are you being so nice? Are you showing your secret nice side now that your sister isn't around? You're sort of right. Shizune wants me to keep you company today. I don't want to trouble him and try to make him see that, but Hideaki is as stubborn as his sister and feels as if this is his duty. He also seems to be earnestly trying to be nice. Quickly I start to realise that Hideaki's idea of fun is fishing, collecting cameras, and making esoteric puns. Fishing is fun, but it's something I would rather do than discuss. The same goes for cameras. I'd rather handle them than collect them. But it's something Hideaki picks up on himself. Are you bored? I'm not bored at all. I almost yawn the words so Hideaki ignores them entirely. You are bored. Shizune's said to be entertaining, and I think I don't know how to do that. I am entertained. You don't sound entertained. I am! Why do you yell? I hope you do not yell so much around Shizune. It's not like she can hear me. Anyways, let's move on. It's hard to tell if he's joking. Either way, I'm a bit surprised. I try to play it off and change the subject. Do you just collect cameras, or are you into photography too? Not really. If I did, there would be more photos in this house than there currently are. What is there to take pictures of? The countryside? You live in a rather greenish area. Countryside? I don't know. Birds? Architecture? One of those restaurants you were talking about? Architecture. I thought this city had tons of cool stuff. How could you live in a place with so much to do and do nothing? I thought he didn't know what there was to do. Suddenly you have many ideas and are authoritative of how interesting it is. You are like our board of tourism. Do you want to go watch birds or buildings? Okay, no need to get so mad. I'm not mad. I just think that if you feel that strongly about it, then we should go to an amusement park. Why? So you can be amused. It would be... I'll stop with the puns! Will he have this same flat, fun expression on his face while we're riding roller coasters and drop towers? He would sure bring the fun levels down, but thought does not convince me that it's worth the trip. I don't know. Always sounded to me like going to an amusement park meant you spend more time waiting in lines than actually doing stuff. You have to go earlier than this just to skip the lines. Have you ever been to one? No, but it seems like that is what it's like. Fine, what about a regular park? There is one nearby that Shizune likes to go to. Maybe she'll be there? And I can unload you onto her. What do you mean unload? I'm not luggage. You don't want to go to an amusement park? I don't know what to do. He looks as though I've hurt his feelings by refusing to go with him. I am already rationalizing my decision. I don't like waiting in lines. It would be too much like a date. I'd rather go with Shizune. It would be too tiring. It's nothing personal. It's just that I kind of wanted Shizune to show me around town instead. And I don't think that with my condition going to an amusement park would be such a hot idea. Exactly. The park is close enough that their property could almost be considered an extension of it. Both it and Shizune's backyard look about the same, except that the park has benches and more people. That said, it's quite nice. There are even people out walking their dogs, and children flying kites that can be seen lazily drifting back and forth over trees in the distance. I could sit here in a relaxing park and scenic place like this forever. Hideaki in hand looks like he's extremely bored. I want to poke him to see if he's still alive, but would he react either way? Are you bored? No? Are you going to jog or play frisbee with dogs like everyone else? Is that what people do in parks? It sounds like this kid doesn't really go outdoors that much. Well, you go to parks and get back to nature and enjoy the atmosphere. That's why you jog in the park instead of just on the sidewalk or something. You can jog anywhere. I can't believe I'm having this conversation. How can you not know this? You shouldn't have brought that up. It's too weird. Haven't you ever heard of children should be seen not... Okay, that's a really old talking, for goodness sakes. Yes? I lied. I'm bored. Would you like to play a game? I've grown audibly enough to hope that he understands I don't want to. He doesn't care. In fact, he's already trying with a deck of playing cards. Why are you upset? This is why we are here. I thought we were here to look for Shizune. Exactly. That is why we should play a game. It's a Shizune's trap. You can trap anything, including people. If we compete against each other in the spirit of competition and in a sportsmanly manner, she'll be drawn here to challenge the winner, like a shark. Then I'll defeat her like a safari hunter, then take a picture of the award ceremony. You don't even have your camera on you to do that. Sharks do not go around challenging people to games of chance like dojo breakers. When did you bring that camera? Anyway, no, I get enough games hanging around with your sister. No, come on, it'll be fun. We can play chess. Please, no. Besides, playing chess in the park is something old people do, like fishing. You're going to get old too fast if you keep doing all this old man stuff. Hideaki freezes like I've suddenly started speaking a foreign language. Maybe I've offended him again. Maybe he's secretly 50 years old and he just aged incredibly well. Him being Shizune's brother could be a cover story. What about checkers? Or Go? Even backgammon is fine, even though I don't like it. If board games aren't your thing, we can play card games. Anything other than 7 card, because it's for wimps. Are you afraid you will lose? If you can beat me, I'll give you candy. Hideaki, you're just like Shizune. I'm starting to think this is all a pretense to play games. No, that's not true. You are. I bet that competitive streak is genetic. I'll sell you to science. No one can own a human being. The unfortunate reality is, you can, and it's called slavery. How about I teach you some sign language instead? When Shizune asked me if I wanted to come here, we talked a little, and it seemed like you and your dad don't use sign language. I'm just guessing, but if you don't, I could teach you some. I'm not a master at it though. I think it might be good for you to move your arms more anyway. He barely moves his arms. Most of the time they just hang limply at his side. How unnerving, you need to move your arms. Sorry for hitting my microphone. It's been bothering me that Shizune's entire family apparently don't know how to sign. I wonder what she did before she met Misha. Did they just hire translators for her? Did she write out everything on that pad she carries around? The second is more likely, or she could type it out on her phone. That would explain why she dislikes using that pad so much. Sad as it is, I can sort of see why Hideaki or her dad might not have bothered to learn sign language. It probably was too much of a hassle at the time. It's very easy to think that. From what I've seen so far, though, neither of them hold it against each other or are too badly affected by it. It could be that I'm overthinking the situation. Come on. Well, to be honest, I'm still learning sign language myself. I brought all my books along with me so I can keep up, you know. Still, I can at least teach you the alphabet. It's pretty simple. This is kite. I feel really corny right now. And even more so when Hideaki stares back at me blankly as if the entire concept of learning is alien to him. Shizune liked flying kites here as well. This is an attempt to salvage a conversation. I'm happy to oblige. Fishing? And now kites too? Shizune really likes all these relaxing hobbies? Fighter kite. Oh, hi. Hideaki freezes as Misha appears behind her and puts her hands over his eyes. Hi! Guess who? You seem to be finally loosened up too. Hi Misha, Shizune with you. Hi Jen, no spoilers, don't spoil it, don't ruin the surprise, okay? Misha. Bingo, that's right, but it's too easy somehow. Because you're the only person who does that. I don't know what she means by somehow. Too many people can tell it's me. I want to surprise someone. I thought for sure that Hideaki would be fooled. Why weren't you? You're the only person who does that. You and kidnappers. Really? Why do you laugh? And are you giving Hisao trouble? I thought you would take him somewhere more exciting in the park. It isn't even that far from home. You are so lazy. Hideaki, you giving Hai-chan trouble? You should have taken him somewhere more exciting. The park is too close to home. Shai-chan says you're lazy. He wants to come here. Why are you so argumentative? I had to keep my little brother in line. What is she saying? He must be kept in line. Really? They're ready to go at each other's throats this quickly? On one hand, I've heard that siblings fighting so much isn't uncommon. And the fact that they fight at all proves that they have some level of communication going on. So it's nice they get along. They argue all the way back home. Mission translates for Shizune, an eye for Hideaki. So, an eye for Hideaki. So it looks like more. So, me for words, for goodness sakes. So it looks more like everyone's arguing instead. Except not really. Nobody could listen to Mission and believe that. The day got entertained in the end at least. Visiting family, but where's your father and mother in all this shenanigans if it's only just the two of us? Or maybe they are somewhere within the background, but we just don't know. Despite having only been here for 2 days, it feels like it's been much longer. I wake up feeling more tired than refreshed. Maybe because I've been moving around almost constantly since I got here. Whatever reason, it's making me get up unusually late each day. I like sleeping in, but it could be inconvenient if it ends up becoming a habit. I can hear a deep male voice shouting loudly in the background. It must be Shizune's dad, or maybe with the size of his place, it's creditors. More like the former, since the yelling doesn't seem angry. Just loud. Whoa! You are full of personality, my friend. Shizune, Mission, Hideaki is sitting in the living room, having a one-sided conversation with a giant bear man who alternates between shoving away food from a plate, balancing his leg, and twirling a sword. From what Shizune and Hideaki are like, I expect her dad to be a very reserved, clean-cut, possibly androgynous person, so I'm pretty surprised. I'm surprised for a while until he starts talking to me. Hello, you must be Shizune's other friend. Did you have a good night's rest? The guest rooms are a bit sparse. Is there anything you need? Feel free to tell me. Thanks. You must be Shizune's father. It's nice to meet you. I'm Shizune's classmate, Hisao Nakai. The pleasure is mine. I've wanted to meet you. After hearing that I would have a second guest in my house. Unexpected. You hear something like that, and obviously you want to see what that person is like. Would you like my business card? Gosh. He holds up a case full of them. For a second I can see that his name is Jigoro, and that his office hours are from 8 to 6. They also say that he's a consultant. What a prepared guy, carrying his cards case around him in his own home. We're just sitting down to a slightly late lunch. You're just in time to join us. Good. Pick a place to sit down and I'll bring you a plate. I hope you don't mind eating bear liver. Gosh. I think bear meat really suits a guy like him, honestly. I thought that bear liver was toxic. Either way, the thought of eating a bear liver doesn't appeal to me other than for the ability to tell people I've eaten bear liver. I suppose it wouldn't hurt to try it, but Shizune's dad merely laughs. I'm just making a joke, although maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to cook up some bear livers for you kids, but it will make you strong. We're actually having omelets. I'll make you one right now. Is it unusual for you, having an omelet for lunch? Very unusual. No, not at all. Jigoro vanishes to where the kitchen must be. I'm surprised that despite living in this place, he has to cook my lunch. Maybe he only cooks because he likes to. Maybe he has a passion for it. My steaming plate of food is done in a very short time. It smells really good. Are you in the student council, right, Shizune? Is the student council that busy? That Shizune has to drag her friends along with her everywhere she goes. Sometimes a vacation is just a vacation. You're right about the student council part. I think we're just here for fun, though. I see. Is that right? When I was young, our student councils had so much work that I don't think we could have afforded to go on vacation. It must be nice, having so much free time. Should I give you plenty of time to think about your future? I do not like the direction this discussion is taking, and start thinking about how to avoid it. Have you thought about that? About what you want to do? No, I haven't given it much thought recently. What do you do, if you don't mind me asking? It must be something pretty cool if it can get you a house like this. Why do you want to know that? Children are interested in business. What business of yours is my business? Suspicious? Are you some kind of tax man boy? I guess he really doesn't like being asked questions. Hi-chan isn't a tax collector's boy, I think. Hi-chan, what do your parents do? You never told us. You, be quiet, don't interrupt me. I hate being interrupted. Rude. Shizune doesn't look too happy with this turn of events. Even with Misha unable to sign to her what's going on, she can read the mood easily. Her glare becomes more smoldering as Jigoro continues to rant. One more thing. My fishing equipment. I came home and it was just in a big pond in the corner. Rods are stacked haphazardly on top of tackle. Yeah, that's kind of untidy. You're supposed to put things away methodically. That was me. I can't remember if it actually was him. If it wasn't, I appreciate that he's willing to take one for the team. It doesn't matter because Jigoro ignores him without skipping a beat. Well, anyway, I'm glad my fish equipment could provide so much entertainment for my daughter's friend. Did not even tell me you were going to be using them. Those are expensive custom-made poles, not for denagency. That word. As they become aware of the eggshell fragments in my omelette, is he just a bad cook? Did he eat them for the calcium? Were they purposely added there to give me even more discomfort? Though confused, I'm not as unnerved as I thought I would normally be. Then again, my life has been pretty strange lately, and I keep running into all sorts of different people. Nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing does. Didn't even properly clean them after use. Terrible. Do you even know how to fish? Unlikely, there are enough poles here for all of you. How does that work? Did you all share? One person baits hook, another casts, 2 people to reel? Incompetent! Well, 6 of us went, so we couldn't do it all at the same time. First it was just me, Akira, Hideaki, and Misha. Stop talking, that sounds unspeakably dirty. I've had enough of your filth. How vulgar. Make sure that your statements are not so embarrassingly carelessly worded next time. What? What? You are so disrespectful, amazing. Are all delinquent types like this? Even the way you dress shows flippant disregard for authority. Sweater this. Disgraceful. Delinquent? I'm on a student council. I'm hurt by his comment on my sweater vest, especially when it's coming from a guy in such a tacky shirt. I guess I can't really say anything though. He has a sword. He might also kill bears. Misha loudly puts her plate down the table. That was delicious. Sai-chan and I are done now. Hi-chan, you are too right. We should get going. Or a simple yet effective exit strategy. I barely have the time to put down my plate before they pull me up and out of there, and finally outside. Unbelievable. It's like I'm really watching an interrogation. This is not a cop show. Guests definitely have responsibilities, but hasn't even heard of being a gracious host, really. Misha attempts to slowly mimic Shizune's angry, chopping gestures as best she can. She has expression down too, but the tone of her voice is the same as ever, thus lacking the anger necessary to bring it all together. Don't take it too hard, Hai-chan. Shai-chan's dad does this to everyone. I think it's like a joke. That was the most aggressive joke possible. I'm also not convinced that it was a joke, considering this hastily staged retreat. But this isn't a good moment to discuss how Shizune's father might be a jerk. Hi-chan, let's go shopping. You haven't been to town yet, have you? It'll be fun. We can see the sights and go to an amusement park. Maybe eat at a good restaurant. We just had lunch. If I didn't eat much. It's okay. In that case, we just have to make sure that today is so busy that by the time we're done, it will be time for dinner. It works out perfectly. Come on, Hi-chan. They immediately flank me and hook my arms with theirs, Shizune taking one arm and Misha taking the other. At first we almost trip over each other. Shizune walks at a very brisk pace, and Misha has an unusually bouncy way of moving around. We get the hang of it soon enough, and I notice that we're going to town by cutting through the park. It doesn't seem efficient, so I'm guessing this is the scenic route. Walking this way hinders how we can communicate with each other significantly. I can't talk to Shizune at all. Shizune and Misha are down to one-handed gestures only. It feels nice though, so I don't mind too much. When I make a crack about it to Misha, she responds with mild confusion. Really, Hi-chan? If you really want Shai-chan's attention, you can tell me, and then I can tap on the shoulder for you. You can just let me go and I'll do it myself. How are you going to tap her on the shoulder from over there? Like this! She suddenly stops in her tracks roughly and tries to reach behind her back and across my shoulders to get Shizune's attention. She succeeds, but only because when Misha stopped, I had to as well, we all fall over. Obviously, Shizune had to jerk to a halt too. The sight makes Misha let out one of her characteristic laughs, which she shakes around more, and Shizune starts flailing her free hand to get her to stop, which only causes her to laugh harder. It is pretty funny to watch her getting so flustered, and I start laughing too. What a... Oh, we didn't get to see what they were up to during the day. How dare they? When's this weekend going to be over so we can finally return back to school? I've been neglecting my sign language studies, so I should probably spend some time studying up on it. Although I think I've learnt a lot just by osmosis. I'm very proud of that, and we have to be careful not to brag about it. Most of the books I brought with me aren't manuals on learning sign language, but studies about different sign dialects. I know Shizune has some secret signals with Misha that only the two of them know the meaning of. After seeing a couple of them, this book caught my eye in the school library. Maybe I should incorporate some examples into my own signing to mess with them, because I'm pretty sure that they have started using their code words more when I started learning sign language. That'll teach them. After a quick break for a shower, I was practicing my signing in the guest room mirror. Yes, I crashed my fingers against each other pretty hard. It's still smart, and I don't want a repeat of that to happen again. I hear knocking on the door behind me and turn to find Hideaki standing inside the doorway staring at me. How polite of him to knock, but usually don't open the door first. What are you doing? I'm practicing sign language. How long have you been standing there? I did not see anything. That isn't the point. I don't even know what he means by that. It's not like I was doing something that I would be ashamed to have people see me do. Although, sign language must look strange to most people. I'm only used to it from being around Shizune and Misha so much. I'm brushing up on my sign language and reading about it too. Stuff like the history of it, even though they cover it in sign language class. Your school teaches sign language as a class? Yeah, one of the first things I brought up was that it's not very common to do that. I guess we're very international or something. It looks fun. Well, I wouldn't call it fun. If you do not enjoy it, it seems like a lot of work to go through just to talk to my sister. Why does everyone keep saying that? Hideaki mouths twitch like he was about to laugh, but he restrains himself. Come to think of it, he hasn't laughed once since I've met him. I could take it as a compliment that he doesn't laugh at me, but I'm curious to see it. Laugh. Why? It was the fastest and most direct way I could think of towards accomplishing my goal. Can you teach me sign language? He says it plainly, but his body language is nervous, showing that he clearly needs to put some effort into ask. I guess Hideaki likes his sister after all. I think Misha is a lot more approachable though, so I wonder why he didn't ask her. Secretly I'm shouting yes inside. I had thought he wanted to learn sign language and even brought it up, but he evaded the subject skillfully. It turns out I was right after all. I don't really know why this makes me so pleased exactly. Sure. But now that I think about it, I'm not a sign language teacher. I don't even know where to start. In class, I'd be learning stuff gradually over a week. Does Hideaki expect me to teach him anything usable in a one-day crash course? Honestly, my teacher spent a couple of days just giving a history of sign language. I decided to start off with that, to buy some time while I figure out how I can segue it into the hard stuff. 5 minutes in, Hideaki raises his hand. I don't understand what you were doing. Well, you can't just jump into teaching, you know. You have to ease into it. It's like when you are swimming. You don't just jump in the lake like in some movie. I do not swim. It's like scientists manage to create a process to suck out all the hyperactive, infuriating, and childish qualities of a small child and then implant them into a dad, creating a raging jerk dad and leaving behind Hideaki. I'm beginning to feel claustrophobic despite the fact that the guest room is 3 times bigger than my dorm room and there's just the 2 of us here. It's all in my head. I know it and I don't care. I still use an excuse to move the lesson outside. It's a lot easier to concentrate out here. Even the precious few seconds it took to relocate managed to allow me to sort my thoughts. There were no questions during this time. Hideaki can't seem to talk and walk at the same time. Eventually, however, I started to realize that if I'm going to teach him anything, I have to keep the lesson constantly moving. The second there's an opening for it, he'll ask a question, which leads to more questions. Then there's no end of those questions, for goodness sakes! The second time he asks me why a certain hand motion means what it does, and I have to reach deep into my memory to look for that word. I don't know about a gesture I only knew about a month longer than him. I start looking for an out. Hideaki, let's take a break. Okay. What is your school like? This kid is like a little reporter, but it makes sense for someone his age to be curious. And this is one question I don't mind. What's it like? I never really thought about it. It's on top of this mountain, so it feels kind of isolated and lonely up there sometimes, even though that's also why it has a pretty great view. The students were very interesting, although I felt bad at first. You know what kind of school it is, right? Yes. I felt bad because I didn't want to go there. I don't even remember exactly what I was thinking at the time. Probably something like, a school for crippled people would be a depressing place. They were telling me to be forgotten there. Then everyone there was just living their lives for the most part, so I felt even worse. It wasn't different at all, so I felt like kind of a jerk. Shizune was the first person I met. She's in most of my classes, Misha too. They're always together. I guess the school is accommodating enough to pair them up as much as possible. Then there's this girl in my class, Hinako, who I feel bad for. She has these burns and seems to have a complex about them. But I think she looks fine. She's a cute girl. And friends with Lily too. You know Lily, right? Does she bring up Hinako? Yes, sometimes. I try to remember who else is interesting. We have a little track star Ace who runs on these prosthetics. There's this one girl, Rin, who doesn't have arms, but she's a great painter. All her art has this harsh, alive quality. Have you ever been to Yamaku? You've probably seen some of it hanging around. A little weird sometimes, but I've always heard that artistic and creative types are like that. That reminds me, the guy who lives across the hall from me is pretty weird too, but he can be interesting at least. You are also interesting. Is that bad? And what's with that tone? What does that even mean? I'm saying I'm weird, Hideaki? You talk a lot. My first instinct is to go on the defensive, but the more I think about it, he has a point. That's right. I do talk a lot, and there is nothing wrong with that. I don't think I'm used to. I think it's probably because of all the time I spend around Shizune and Misha, talking with them. I get caught up in all their circular logic and just how they do everything. I feel like I'm going to be drowned out or left behind. Not literally. My sister can drown you out? It's not she's literally talking over me and stuff. Obviously, it's hard to explain. They have more energy than I do. It's like an aggressiveness. I don't feel like I have to match it, but I want to. I think maybe your sister has that effect on people. Do you look up to your sister? He stares at me blankly, tense and confused how to react to that question. I will be better than Shizune. Better at what? Okay, that's rather selfish of you to say. Everyone has their advantages and disadvantages. Like what? Okay, show me. You mean like telling people you've got their nose, or more like the kind of magic where you pull a rabbit out of your ass? He doesn't look happy. Someday I will see Hideaki laugh. I might just try tickling him if I have to. The back door flies open and Jigoro strides out of it, keeping his back straight and taking giant, slow, ritual strides like either a king or a huge jackass. I try to turn away using the train of logic, but if I can't see him, he can't see me. Unfortunately, it doesn't pan out and he comes over so fast it's like he's appeared out of the air over my shoulder. Oh, what's up here? What are you two doing, flailing your hands around? Playing cat's cradle like a bunch of girls? I'm teaching Hideaki some sign language. What about you, Mr. Hakamichi? He narrows his eyes suspiciously, as if he's not used to people being polite to him. I am writing an autobiography of my life and times. And by writing, I mean I am dedicating it to my biographer. Unfortunately, she's running late. I'm professional. Perhaps you should read it. When it is published later this year, I could put you on the writing list. Maybe it'll give you the moral compass you seem to lack in your life and inspire you to stop sucking. It can't be sustainable for him to be so casually insulting to everyone. But Hideaki is likely to detach to even notice. Shizune is deaf, and most of the insults must fly over Misha's head, but surely Akira must have an opinion of this. I try not to think about it. If he is doing this to psych me out, then I have to stay calm or he wins. He must absolutely definitely not win. This must be how Shizune feels. How old are you? 46. That doesn't seem old enough to justify writing a biography. I mean, that's not even old. Doesn't most people start writing their memoirs a lot later than that? Shut up, boy. I'm going to give you advice. Do not talk about matters of age with people older than you. You are less than half my age. You have no right to talk about old. I am also older than you. Oh dear, this sounds like a very old-fashioned parent who is like, you should not be spoken to unless you should not speak unless you are spoken to. It's like such old-fashioned antics. He should get that checked out. He might have a point though. He is definitely older than I am. Either way, even if we were the same age, I won't have to explain myself to you, sweater vest. Ugh. Why'd you make that noise? Are you mad? Well, obviously good. Your sweater is terrible, and I want you to feel about it. The burn tells me it's working. I like my sweater. I'm sure you like huffing glue too. That doesn't make it right. I don't huff glue. Where do you get that impression that I do? That is slander. I know how Yoki knows what slander is. Maybe Jiguro is a lawyer. I can sort of see that. Although I thought only TV lawyers were this antagonistic. I don't know if I should take the chance and ask if that's his job. He's right, it is slander. Are you a lawyer? I was guessing. I guess based on the fact that you are stupid. It's like how you are assuming I am a lawyer, except you have no reason to think that. If you want to know what I want to do so badly, why don't you pre-order my order for... Now you're in... We did not even do that! And by exchanging my time... What gives you right to do that, arrogant? I'm trying to think of how I can make you better understand my struggle. Maybe by beating you with my autobiography. Hope you walk away from the beating having learned a valuable lesson, like not making assumptions. Assault. But he made an assumption too, that I huffed glue. I consider calling him out on this glaring example of hypocrisy, but I don't think it's worth it. He'll probably explain his way out by saying, "Shut up, boy, yeah, old age antics." Back in my day, children were seen and not heard, and to be an adult meant having experienced many hardships. Times have changed, you old man. I hate parents who are like that. It's like we are supposed to be silenced. It's like we don't even have a mouth or even an opinion. With even a glance, people could instantly judge a man's character. Childhood existed only to temper you for adulthood. When you look at me, can you not see the category of my experiences even at a glance? Maybe were you a sword fighter? He could also be Hawaiian and werewolf. Wait, didn't you tell me before not to make assumptions? Now you just asked me to assume stuff. And you're saying everyone when you were my age did it. And that had to be in like the 80s? That wasn't even long ago. I really give him a piece of my mind for talking like he had to walk away 50 miles in the snow to ride a coal train, that he had to shovel coal into himself before climbing up a mountain while fighting ogres to get to school. But now that I finally want to fight, Jigoro is happy to have a good thing going, just continue to ramble about how difficult it was growing up one generation ago, twirling his sword like a baton and stopping occasionally to yawn or check the time. The tiredness of his autobiographer is still foremost in his mind. That means the whole time he's been assaulting me, he must have been doing it just to pass the time, to add insult to insult. His watch is also really nice. When I was your age, kids have responsibilities. Not like today. Sickening. No one thinks about the consequences of their actions anymore. They just do whatever they want. Because we don't regret everything that we do. We don't just look back and think about rationings and stuff like that. While it was very bad times, we don't just think about that sort of stuff because it was history. There's a reason why it's called history, because it happened and it's not happening at this point in time. You gotta look to the future, not the past. They just do whatever they want, thinking no one will hold them accountable since they are so young. It's odd. That description could fit Shizune and Misha. I thought something similar only yesterday, but only fits them slightly. Look at yourself. An immoral, directionless, delinquent glue huffer with a complete lack of etiquette and absolute no fashion sense. You are tomorrow's Japan. Disgraceful. Is this the future of this once great country? I know someone you would get along well with. Don't interrupt. Who? One of your friends? Why do I want to talk to some awful teenager? Have you even been listening? Why are you so rude, boy? Your attitude is not one that would make you a lot of friends. I wish you would stop giving me so much advice. Or at least, I wish he would give me advice that he would have the decency to adhere to himself. Where have you been? Huh? Not you, idiot. Oops, I didn't notice you there. Shizune smiles and gives a short wave. His arrival making Juro stop talking, so I'm already happy to see her for that reason alone. Misha and I decide to go into town again. Hisao, I noticed you were looking at some clothes yesterday in a store window, and I thought I would go back and buy some for them for you. It was supposed to be a surprise, though. She looks annoyed that the surprise is ruined, even though she ruined it herself. Here you go. Thanks. Misha wants to cut her hair. I told her not to, but she said it was too hot for the summer. Yeah? I didn't know that. That makes a lot of sense to me. It must have been like an oven under there. I want to see it. Where's Misha anyway? Over here. Hi, Hai-chan. Hi, Mr. Shai-chan's father. Hi, Hideaki. And there we go then. I don't recognise her with that kind of hair. Misha runs around us once in a wide circle before stopping next to Shizune. For the first time she had to put her hands over my eyes, although I can see that she has bags of her own to carry. Under the eyes? So it's not like she could have, even if she wanted. She could have. Although I am positive she's tried to before. Her meticulous styled curls are gone now, in favour of a much shorter, sportier look. Misha looks even happier than usual, probably because she knows she won't have to wake up at the crack of dawn every morning just to do her hair. Where's her haircut? You look like an intern. Your old haircut merely made you look like you were wearing a pink judge wig. Judge to intern is a huge demotion. Hi sir, is he saying something insulting? Tell him not to insult my friends. Don't insult my friends. Which one of you is talking? Both of us, I agree with her. What do you think, Hai-chan? You should have it kept like it was. Oh, Hai-chan, you look disappointed. You don't like it either? Well, yeah, I kind of liked your old haircut more, but I think this one is nice too. It suits you. Ah, thanks, Hai-chan. Touching. If you like it so much, maybe you two should trade. You can't trade a haircut. What a shame. Even her old haircut would suit you so much more than your current slacker haircut. Awful. As for you. Actually, this is much less garlish than your old haircut. I like it. Really? Thanks, Mr. Shizune's dad. It's Mr. Hakamachi. Talk like a normal person. I don't understand. Okay. I'll call you Mr. Hakamachi. It's like speaking to a slide whistle. He starts quietly muttering to himself. I can't stand the guy. Like, the first time I saw him, he's going to be that kind of old man who just thinks so highly of himself, and then they can only retort to old days and like how children should always respect their parents regardless of how stupid and suicidal their thought processes are. And I say suicidal because they always act like children respecting their parents is kind of like a religion. Like, regardless of what their parent is like or how abusive they are, children should always respect them regardless. Like, I feel like respect should be earned, not just self-proclaimed. He starts quietly muttering to himself and walks off. I guess I want to be cranky old man like Jiguro would at the very least be hesitant to yell at girls. Suddenly he doubles back, unable to resist the urge to have the last word. Another thing, you do not have to be so loud. I do not like being shouted at. Oh yeah, and you're shouting at us does not... What? Shouting? I'm not shouting. I can't think of anyone more unqualified to talk about what garlish or to chastise someone else of shouting at people. It's like a parade of hypocrisies, and the hits just keep coming. An unusual reaction seems to be taking place. Misha apparently finds Jiguro funny and laughs pretty hard every time he says something, which only makes him berate her harder. I guess it's what they call a vicious circle. Misha's voice is punctuated with explosions of laughter and seems to come from everywhere. On the other hand, Jiguro's is booming and directed like a cannon. In any case, they're both unbelievably loud. The more they talk to each other, the more they seem to play off each other's volume and get louder. Oh, my ears! Shizune hands wrap around my eyes from behind. So I'm so used to Misha doing. For the first time I find myself confused by it since Misha is in front of me. She lets go and holds her finger up to her lips. What a perfect distraction. Now's our opportunity. Let's sneak off. Why do we have to sneak off? Why not just walk off? It wouldn't be as fun, exactly. It's decided it's a secret mission. Escape without being detected. Extract Hideyoki for bonus points. Already she has simplified the situation to a game. Shizune quietly slides away from the scene and begins edging towards the house. I walk towards it normally. I can't find Shizune at first, but eventually she walks into the main part of the house, sipping a glass of ice water and dangling her glasses back and forth from her free hand. She whips them on as soon as she sees me. You didn't rescue Hideyoki, that means you don't get bonus points. If you're also being graded on style, I have to deduct points for boring escape. It's like you wanted to talk to me. I didn't know how to be stylish about it. You know, some say that the most stylish people are the ones who don't try to be too hard to look cool. You're really cool. I wonder how it is I can pick up on the sarcasm so easily, and how hard it might have been for her to learn the concept of sarcasm without being able to hear it. I can't imagine it. You seem like you're in a good mood, although I guess it isn't really a good mood. It's more like she seems very excited. I'm in a bad mood. Sitting her drink down, Shizune sits down on the couch. I liked her regular hairstyle so much more. It looked so pretty. It was refined and meticulous. Now she looks too sporty and tomboyish. Well, what's wrong with that? I wouldn't call Misha refined and meticulous. That sounds more like you. You should give it a chance. Grow your hair out and make it look like trails. Actually, maybe this suits you just fine. Shizune rubs the frames of her glasses roughly, looking annoyed at the implications behind what I just signed to her. That's fine, because I was totally implying that. She moves a little close to me when I take a seat. I'm a tomboy? Well, no one would call you a tomboy based on appearances. So you're saying that she is a tomboy? Shizune glares at me unamused. I have to fight to keep a straight face. Maybe you two should trade haircuts anyway. You sound like my father. It's true, Shizune giggles noiselessly when she sees my displeasure at realization. Jumping to her feet, she twirls an invisible sword in her hand while standing up militarily straight and grimacing. A terrifyingly accurate impression. Anyway, I don't take advice from anyone who wears a blue sweater with brown pants. Where's your sense of color coordination? Dreadful. But changing my hairstyle, that might be fun. Wouldn't it be? I want to see how everyone would react. You must really like playing with people. Sometimes I think a little too much. No answer. The way she fiddles with her glasses, brow furrow tells you, but it's because she can't. It's fun. Then with more confidence and while pulling herself closer to me. It's fun to drag more and more people into my life. Oh, I see. I wonder if I'm including that number. I want to ask, but I'm not even sure how I would. Shizune wags her finger preemptively, indicating that she wouldn't be answering such a question anyway. She reaches for her glass, but doesn't seem to realize how far she's managed to inch away from it all this time. To prevent herself from tipping over clumsily, Shizune tries to grab onto me and ends up pulling me on top of her. Well then, as I lean over to her, I can feel the heat coming off her body and realize how close we are. I can hear her soft breathing and the slight rustling of her clothes as she momentarily fidgets. A blush starts to creep into her cheeks, but her eyes stare straight into mine, dark and unblinking. It's the same I looked from the first time I saw her, piercing and devoid of any clear emotions, just waiting to see what will happen next, like the eyes of a cat. It makes me feel uncomfortable being looked at such a way. But it's the first time I've been so close to her for an extended period of time, and the mood is different now. The situation now isn't the same as a passing touching of hands or her and Misha's usual games. Shizune's fingers weave together tentatively, but she makes no move to sign. The looks in her eyes isn't just nothing, like I thought. It's more like expectation. I wonder if maybe I've been following the string of her expectations this entire time. I feel her grabbing me by the shoulders and then gently but firmly pushing me off of her. I roll sideways onto the soft couch and pull myself into a seating position less than a foot away from her, where I feel she might as well throw me in 10 yards. When I think about it, this is perhaps one of the biggest drawbacks to sign language. Shizune said that the fact you have to sign your words out with your hands means you have time to reflect on what you have to say before you say it. But on the other hand, it also means that would normally be just an awkward silence becomes an insurmountable wall. I just blurt out something. Anything to try and dispel the tension I'm feeling right now if I could. But I can't. Ordinarily, I think that would be normal would be to apologise and maybe leave, but right now I wonder if that's even applicable. I can't get past how guilty such an action would seem, like a word just slinking away. Of course, it's not like I can just play it off like nothing happened either. That would just be insulting to both of us. So, as much as I don't want to apologise quickly, so quickly if I get to sign, then I go back to my room. Oh dear. Shizune's father is something else. Like, I hate the guy. And I personally don't like anybody with that kind of old age ideology that the past is the present and therefore you should always live in the past to be in the present. The past defines you, but it shouldn't define your actions in the future. The past is what we came from, not what is currently right now. Sighing, I let myself fall backwards into bed. I wish I could just go to sleep right now, but I feel wide awake. And I hear... What? I said I want to hear the door close and open my eyes to see Shizune sitting in the chair in front of me. She asked a question that goes right over my head, due to my surprise. It's not a feeling I'm good at conceding, and I don't think it's what she intended. Whatever she was saying, she backs up and doesn't attempt to sign again for a while. This is the first time I've been in your room. This isn't my room, this is the guest room. Shizune tenses her fingers and puts on an exaggerated attempt to make herself look embarrassed and modest at the thought. I can't appreciate the joke. Just the fact that she's here has me feeling a bit scattered. Very funny. It isn't even my room. It's your guest room. Besides, you and Misha barged into my room once before. It seems as if she expects me to say more. I remember feeling very panicked when they burst into my room, afraid of what conclusions they would jump to seeing the walls of pures lining the place. I don't think that Shizune remembers, though. It made you nervous? The way she says it so factually stings me. A lot of things make me nervous. You're one of them. Because you're over eager to always get people involved, whatever you're doing, whether it's joining the student council or even taking a break, whether they want to or not. She sighs almost a crawl, her hands pausing mid-sentence far too much, causing the words to dissipate formlessly before I can even begin to try and understand them. I try not to let on that this is the case. It seems to work, but she looks a little sad, and I regret that I have nothing to say to her, to snap her from her strangely wistful and distant expression she is wearing. All I could do is wait for her to come out of it. You are right. I want to drag everyone into my life, but lately I'm no longer sure if it's the right thing to do. I enjoyed you taking me to your favourite restaurant the other night. It's not like that was my favourite restaurant. I have others I like. I might even be able to rank them by number. Really? This chair is so hard. I want to sit on the bed. Motioning to her to go ahead, I'll wait for her to get off the chair and take her place when she does. But I don't intend for it to be. She finds it amusing. Close your eyes. Why? It's a surprise. I swear, if I need to censor this out, this is going to be bad. I decided to humour her and close them. I could feel her lean over me, and suddenly something soft and moist touches my lips. My body tenses up in surprise. Fortunately, not as awkward a reaction as I could have made. It was just a quick peck, and I almost think that's the end of it. But then she kisses me again, more deeply this time. Her hands slide onto my shoulders, up to my neck, and then back down again, then across my shoulders and down my arms. I can feel the weight of her body on my legs, and the eroticism of the situation isn't lost on me. At this point, I'm ready to try and open my eyes, just a crack, but as if expressing it, she puts her fingers on my eyelids. Seconds later, something ties my hands together waist, and I panic, not knowing what to make of it. My first thought is to ask Shizune what she's thinking, even though she can't hear me. I'm sure she gets the gist of it. She won't let go of my hands, tracing her fingers over them, from the lines of my palms over my knuckles into my wrists. Hey, what are you doing? What's this? Of course, with my hands tied behind my back, I might as well be gagged. A part of me can't help but think that this is what she intended. There is a kinky side to her after all. As if reading my thoughts, a mischievous expression lights up her face, but her blushing doesn't faint. In fact, it only deepens when our eyes meet. Embarrassed, she leans deeper into our partial embrace, hiding her face by burying it in my shoulder and neck. Her hair is soft, it tickles me, and I let out a laugh, knowing that she won't hear me, won't be offended. Of course that would be the case. Melons indignate, something of a 18+ activity going on here, folks. Avert your eyes, avert them. Avert with all your might. Afterwards, I listen to the sound of my heartbeat slowing down until it reaches its normal rhythm. I listen to the sound of Shizune's breathing as it does the same. Her glasses are slightly askew, and this is the first time she isn't messing around with them in some way. I want to straighten them for her, but the second I try, I'm reminded that I can't. Shizune seems to have forgotten it as well. Instead of getting up, she presses herself against me in the chair to extend her reach. It's almost as if this is the only position she can think to untie my hands from. This is what I think as I feel her unbinding my wrists. However, she doesn't get off me. Her fingers gently stroke against mine, occasionally bending inwards to run over my palms. It's funny, but I feel more connected to Shizune through this simple act than before. Shizune stays pressed against me like this for some time. It's a little uncomfortable, but it makes me feel happy, as if I could stay like this for hours. Awkward. That's the only word I can think of. Awkward. Okay, folks. That last day gone on for more than long enough that I think. And also, I've just particularly have had enough of Shizune's father at this point in time. So I'm going to leave it off here, but I doubt that this is the last we'll see of him. I really don't like people like Shizune's father that relies on a generation hierarchy to be authoritative. Like, I feel personally that trust is higher than respect, and if you don't even have a basic amount of trust with another person, then there is no room for respect to build. And respect is built, not just given, not just self-proclaimed. In a way, it is given, but it's not just so self-proclaimed that it just is pre-expected from the beginning. Like, how does one even get through the day while having that kind of mindset where your mindset is from the 1940s, where everything is rationed, where everything is so tight, where everything is so frightening. We don't live in that kind of world in most parts of the world. There are still parts of the world which do live in frightening conditions. And it would be indescribable to try and describe what that would be like. But I just get really angsty about this kind of stuff because it is so annoying that people think that they are just so much higher up than you just because they have more years of experience than you, and they can just have their way with their words and just flap their mouths like they do. But I hate people like them. I particularly hate it when it's like with the older generation, in which they don't look at others as equals, but they feel others as inferior beings. Like, that is not respect in a way. You want to get respect from another person, you have to show respect in the first place. And if you don't even teach someone respect or how to respect, then how can they show respect? And that's kind of the thing with parents nowadays, that they don't teach their children how to show respect. They just pre-expect it to happen. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you all in the next time with Katawa Shoujo. Thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves.